I feel truly honored to extend a warm welcome to Padma Bhushan Dr. R.S. Paroda sir, former Secretary of Department of Agriculture, Research and Education and former DG ICR as our chief guest.
Internationally recognized for his achievements, Dr. Paroda has received numerous awards and accolades. His leadership has been instrumental in modernizing India's national agricultural research system, creating over 30 national institutions and heading initiatives such as National Agriculture Technology Project.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. M.S. Chauhan, our special guest today, Dr. C.R. Chaudhary. I would like to congratulate you also for receiving Padma Shri. Dr. Sanjay Kumar, Dr. A.S. Nain, Dr. S.K. Verma, many distinguished delegates. I see some of them, Dr. Gaur, Dr. Tomar, Dr. Lakshmikant, and many other distinguished seed technologists. Dear delegates, students, media representatives, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a matter of great privilege for me to be here on this campus. I think I'm also here after 25 years. So the change which has taken place here on the campus is quite significant. I would like to say that Green Revolution was a seed-led revolution. The revolution would have not taken place if the miracle seeds, which were dwarf wheats and rices, were not brought in India and sown at the farmers' fields. I was myself associated with that stage in '64 when I joined Indian Agriculture Research Institute. The seeds of Green Revolution were being sown. And we used to go and dibble the seeds in Jante village. And a few seeds were available, few kilograms that time, and we had to dibble them to ensure that you get maximum produce back, and from where the Green Revolution started. Thanks again to the partnership at global level. We could have otherwise not achieved. Thanks again to the institutions like IRI, this university and Punjab Agricultural University were in forefront, and they made valuable contributions. And possibly if we look at the history of seed development, I think the growth of seed sector began with the Green Revolution phase in the 60s, mid-60s. Possibly in the history, nowhere you will find an example of introduction of 18,000 tons of seed of Larma Rajo 64A and also of Sonora 64, which came in a period of 3 months' time, and Dr. Borlaug used to define it whenever we will meet for informal discussion, that how Herculean task was it to get the seed from farmers' fields. So we have to also recognize the role of farmers. The farmer seeds in Mexico, the team from India had gone for inspection, and then they found it very difficult to have the ship to load that much quantity and bring it to India before time, and that was the period in 1966. In 1968, we had Green Revolution. We were never growing more than 10 million tons of wheat before, and that time it was 11 million tons because of some growth that had taken place in 2 years' time. But 68 made the difference by quantum jump of 5 million tons. These 5 million tons gave us the confidence that we can meet our needs more effectively. We were importing around 10 million tons that time. Our Prime Minister at that time said, observe a one-day fast in a week. Prime Minister also said, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. So we don't only need the Jawan on the border to protect us, but we also need farmers to protect us as far as our food security is concerned. 60s also had many other achievements. 66 we came up with Seed Act, the first Seed Act through the Act of Parliament, which is still being revived and had to be given high priority. Then National Seed Corporation was established in 63. If we didn't have these institutions, it is not, we have to always appreciate in terms of Dr. Borlaug that because we had institutions in India, we could achieve, because they were cradles of success, and these cradles were not available in Africa, and therefore his efforts for more than 2 decades after Green Revolution here in India didn't succeed. One, he said, was policy support of the kind we had here for building this entire infrastructure, not only the institutions like First University, Pantnagar. I am proud of being alumnus of this university also, and always happy to be here. And this had been the first agricultural university established on land grant system, and this still is one of the premier one. And I should hope that it would continue remaining first in every sphere of agricultural education. Then we also saw the high-yielding variety program started in 1969, and in 1971 Indian Society of Seed Technology was established. So you would see that in 1 decade's time, 64 to 74, lot of things happened. And then we also had taken the support from World Bank under National Seed Project, which continued for almost 15 years, under which the state seed corporations came in, the seed certification system came in, and for quality seed production, we tried to put a kind of national infrastructure. But we wanted to develop private sector as well. And private sector was that time hardly anywhere in terms of its role. I won't go into more details, which Sanjay Kumar has already mentioned about potential and what role we can play at global level. Maybe later in panel discussion, most of these issues will again emerge. But I would like to say that private sector growth started with, again, good quality seed of bhindi, ladyfinger, from Badrinath Barwale, taking seeds of Pusa Sauni at the back of his cycle to the farmer's fields. And from where the Myco today is now known for its growth. And at that time, I also was able to join National Institute of Plant Genetic Resources, building the gene bank, and at the same time also making sure that the genetic variability available in the national system becomes available to the private sector, because without that, and most of these seed companies have though grown, now I am told around 550 are multinationals, but very few have their R&D capacity still. And they needed support. So when I became Deputy Director General, first thing we did was to make sure that breeder seed of all publicly bred hybrids, parental seeds of publicly bred hybrids are made available to private sector free of cost. No money was charged because we knew unless the seeds of change reach the end user, there is no point of all this research. And that our breeders have been breeding, details were given, lot of varieties have been bred, but after breeding, if seed doesn't reach to their farmer, then I think there is some gap, and for that private sector had to be strengthened and brought in, besides our own seed production system, which every state had tried to strengthen. So having said this, I would say that we also thought that good quality seed, if available elsewhere, should also come in. So at that time, I was also Deputy Director General Crops, and we thought that let there be a new seed policy. And new seed policy made all the difference for growth of, again, private sector. Today, our private sector is to the level of about 3 billion out of roughly 100 billion at the global level, which need to be further doubled as we move forward. But good point is that we have now a robust system, and we have to also make sure that we produce good quality seed. In the process, we find that, as I said, only 15% of the seed companies have their R&D. More than 50% are just marketing. They are even not producing. And roughly about 30% are producing and marketing. So we have to make sure that those who market, which means they collect from somewhere and market, then the quality of seed must be of best quality. And if that is not taken care of, the sufferer will be the farmer. So we have to take care of good quality seed. Then we thought whether truthfully labeled seed should also be permitted, and then Seed Act should be revised. And we gave also the revised Seed Act, which is still for consideration of the Parliament for approval. It has taken now more than 25 years. But then we came up with the seed, what we call it, 2004, the seed bill, which was passed by the government. And under that, a process of registration became a requirement. After registration became a requirement, that we should know that who is the registered producer of seed and what he is producing and how much he is selling. So you require a system at the national level always to improve. This Seed Act, which is now quite old, needs revision, and we have to evolve to meet the expectations not only of our national system but of the global requirements. Fortunately, India has robust local requirement of seeds. Whatever we are producing, we are able to make use of it. The figures can be anywhere between 2.5 million tons. I think the expectations of 2047 will be around 4 to 5 million tons, which means you have to double it now. So scope is there to even double. And there is business for everyone, for the government organizations, institutions, and to the private sector. But then we have to build a kind of enabling environment for growth of private sector. while controlling the quality of seed production. And that enabling environment is lacking, maybe for the lack of trust, and we have to build this trust. We cannot consider private sector in today's time as aliens, which possibly had been the approach in the past. And in that respect, we have to also have access and benefit sharing of genetic resources that we will be sharing with them. And institutions like this should provide an environment of, I would say, technology power, so that these private organizations can come and start working with you, not only after you have come up with a variety to be used and take all the benefits of it, but to work jointly using the new science, opportunities for which are enormous, and then come with innovations, and innovations of the kind which are needed, whether it is for biofortification, whether it is for stress tolerance, biotic or abiotic, and whether it is also to provide you better productivity under low input situation. There are opportunities, there are advances. We have to be globally wise, but act locally, and we have possibly all the scope for capitalizing through globalization in seed sector. We must have a strategy how to move forward, and if you have to still, when you look at China, it is double than us in export. When you look at USA, it is 25% of the total export is from USA. And European countries, just Europe, Germany, France and Netherlands, 50% of seed export only from those three small countries. Today in vegetable, most of our seed is imported, which is a very unfortunate scenario. Why can't we produce this seed under our own environment where we have best climate, whether it is tropical, subtropical or temperate, and whether we don't have infrastructure, but I think what we need is putting our heads together and see as to how we can make a difference. And sky is the limit, the opportunities exist, we must go for taking benefit of these opportunities. And sometimes when people say, oh, your yields are low, I always consider that as an opportunity. Our yields are low, so we will not increase the land, but we will increase yield. And that is our option for future, which many other countries don't have. So we have that kind of scenario, and I am sure young generation will take care of many of these scenarios and situations and see to it that we in future have better quality seed produced, have all varieties. And then when I talk to the private sector, why they were not bringing the single cross maize hybrids in India, it was that time when we were talking about new seed policy which was approved in 1988. They told me that there is no intellectual property regime existing in India, and therefore we will not like to bring those materials for which the secrecy cannot be maintained. And single cross hybrids have that kind of risk. So we immediately decided when I became Director General that first thing is have our own plant variety and Farmers' Right Act, which is a unique act in the whole world. We are talking of farmers' right. And thank you, Dr. Chaudhary. You are, as you said, no one retires. You have not retired. And you are still working for Kala Namak and getting geographical implication for it, GI, for our basmati rice, for all our aromatic rice. I think these are, and now you are serving the farmers and helping those farmers who are growing these. So genetic resources, if you are working, you have to make sure that those who protect these genetic resources are also benefited. And that is the kind of effort you have made, which is really remarkable. And we are glad that government has recognized this, though late, but never late. It is better late than never. And we are happy that this happened this year. So, friends, I can go on talking on this subject because this is the subject which is close to my heart. I am farmer. I know what farmer needs. And we want now not only scientific publications from research and from these institutions, but what we want now is innovation. We want now a paradigm shift from agriculture research for development to that of agriculture research and innovation for development. We want those kinds of innovations like a smartphone. Today, even a farmer in the field is using, and the billionaires are also using. And the access to knowledge is same. There is no difference in the context. That kind of what we call is disruptive innovation. Disruptive innovation was dwarf wheats and dwarf rices. That's the kind of innovation we want to continue, and we want to see that in future we are the world leader. The slogan is that let the nation be developed by 2047. I say why 2047? I think we will be developed nation much earlier, and in the last 26th January, the focus of our celebration was developed nation, India, Bharat, ek viksit desh. And for making Bharat viksit desh, we have to make farmer first. हम कहते रहे हैं कि भारत एक कृषि प्रधान देश है, पर हमने कृषक को प्रधान कभी नहीं बनाया, और यही कारण है कि आज किसानों को कई बार अपनी समस्याओं को लेके सड़क पे आना पड़ता है, और गवर्नमेंट भी सोच रही है कि इनकी जो है हालत कैसे सुधारी जाए, इनकम को डबल कैसे किया जाए, और इसके साथ साथ इनको और नए प्रावधान क्या जो है पहुंचाए जाएं. तो we need to again have proper understanding and appreciation, and see that farmers' role is important. In the seed production also, we cannot achieve all what we want unless we have effective, more progressive farmers and youth now to be brought for seed sector, whether for private sector, whether for his own entrepreneurship, whether for testing system. And testing system, why government should test seeds? भाई हमारा ब्लड टेस्ट कराते हैं तो हम क्या कोई गवर्नमेंट के हॉस्पिटल में ही जाते हैं क्या? Why can't we have the private, accredited labs by these youths who can test soil sample test proper नहीं होते, seed sample test proper नहीं होते, और फिर वो there are all kinds of problems about seed certification agencies. The people are not there, they are on deputation, they don't know what is all this to be required. So we need to look now in a different context. We have to look out of the box. We must change, and unless we change, we cannot be Viksit Desh. Thank you very much.